The following Let's Play has been rated for mature audiences only. Any attempts to break the game are for entertainment value only. However, if any typos happen to be found...
Hello everyone! Welcome to this game! I have a lot of stuff to say to introduce this game, so for those of you who want to skip directly to the game, look on the bottom of the screen and there's the time you want to skip to. Anyway, this is a game that was created by a person named Tsunami. And if that name seems familiar to you all, it is because Tsunami created a Roarus story, which is the first game, the first big Let's Play that I did. Way back in 2009, early 2009, February. Yeah, it was February 2009 when I decided that I would start doing RPG Maker Let's Plays, and I started off with a Roarus story for RPG Maker 3. So, yeah, since this is from the same guy, obviously I'm excited about that. Now, a Roarus story was a decent game. Not the best, but definitely not the worst. The game was solid, the story was kind of interesting. The best part of the game was it had a crap ton of subquests to go on. At least as far as RPG Maker goes. My biggest problem with a Roarus story was probably that half the game you spent with only one party member. And when it comes to RPG Maker 3's battle system, that's really not a good idea. Though I will admit, the fact that he stayed alone for half the game makes sense for his character. Now, what's really interesting is that this game that we are about to play came out a year after a Roarus story. So, Tsunami's going to be taking his experience that he learned from a Roarus story and will be applying them to this game. Not to mention this is a sequel to another game, SS World 1. I have not played SS World 1 on account... Well, I just haven't played SS World 1, so hopefully I won't have to have played it in order to understand what's going on in this one. And now that the opening of RPG Maker 2 is done, I guess I can just go ahead and start. There's a few other things I want to talk about, but that's the basics that you need to know. This game was created by Tsunami, who created created a Roarus story. I forgot the name of the game apparently. I fail. Anyway, time to start the game. After the opening sequence to my Let's Plays. Because, of course, we gotta have that fancy opening sequence, because it's like a show, except it's not a show because everybody does Let's Plays. It's redundant. And I am stalling until this thing loads up. Load up faster. Alright, it's loaded. Here's the opening. Tsunami created it in 2008. Whoa, deja vu. Huh. Main game challenge mode? Challenge mode? Okay, the game did not come with any sort of instructions or a guide, so I don't really know what challenge mode is. I am definitely going to have to check that out. Main game. Well, obviously we want to do main game. Obviously exit. Obviously again. Like, why am I saying obviously a bunch? Naturally, exit game is going to bring me back to RPG Maker 2's title screen. Because you can do that. But let's just start the main game. We'll figure out challenge mode once I actually figure out how to play the game. Times are hard. This is common knowledge. Yeah, SS. That's the name of the main character. So when the game is called SS World 2, well, it's referring to the main character. Is its last name World? Probably not. Terrace, the great and powerful nation that we are all a part of, is being ripped apart at the seams by a civil war. Apparently we got here like a theater sort of setup. And I guess those are curtains. You know, that's actually a clever usage of the curtain object in RG Maker 2, because basically look at the lower left there. There's a big block of curtain. That's all the curtain is as far as I'm aware. And what he did here is stacked a whole bunch of them together. So that's kind of creative. It's not entirely aesthetically appealing, mainly on account you got the wooden rods going across over and over again. But I like the effect. Moving on. But the spirits of the citizens of Terrace have not been broken. We are a proud people, a strong people. The people of the province of Talus have been led astray by a false prophet, whom I'm sure you have heard a good deal about. Well, I'm pretty sure I would have heard a good deal about him had I played the other games. This man, whom the people of Talus mistakenly call Vega the Eternal, I wouldn't exactly trust anybody named Vega the Eternal. That sounds way too suspicious of a name to me. Moving on. For whatever selfish reason has sown the seeds of dissent and rebellion between Talus and his protector nation, our nation, Terrace. But we will not let this atrocity continue. The task of assisting Terrace in the crisis now rests on all of your shoulders, as you have now been fully trained as defenders, the most elite of all of Terrace's soldiers. It will be your responsibility to assist the military in their conquest of Talus. This task will not be easy. Many of you may not survive. You know, I don't understand why anybody actually has to say that during these sort of war pep talks. Many of you will not survive. And then I'm reminded of that Animaniacs episode where it was that Anvilania episode where they were about to go to war and Yakko gave more or less the same speech and then all the soldiers fled in fear. Moving on. But under the expert command of Overlord Roarus, Terrace will triumph. Oh, so is this guy giving a speech to the people that Terran or whatever it was is rebelling against? Interesting. I thought this was like the good guys. Then again, maybe the bad guys are the people who are rebelling. I'm not entirely sure. Moving on. When you find yourselves in danger on the battlefield, think back to your training here at the Defender Academy. It will serve you well. This is the kind of power that all of you have the ability to achieve. Special effects. That was a pretty neat special effect. It almost looked like that rotating thing was sort of flexing in a way. Might have been like an illusion or something. I don't think you could have it curved, but maybe you can. Moving on. I'm sure all of you have learned about elemental combat during your time here at the Defender Academy. Perhaps a few of you have even learned how to harness the powers of the world around you to incinerate or freeze your enemies. But the elemental attack that you have just witnessed is the fabled holy element, harnessed not from the earth but from the heavens. It has helped me defend Terrace in the past and is proof that the divine watch over and protect us in our struggles. Thank you and good luck. Is it really necessary to put a hyphen in thank you? Hello, General Livio. I like your name. Very nice speech, SS. It certainly highlighted your optimistic nature. Yeah, optimistic. Many of you will not survive. You should save your praise for Roarus. He had the speech written for me. Now why does that not surprise me? That's a question. Speaking of our fearless Overlord, he wants to see you right away. Oh yeah, come on, think of it. This is Tsunami we're talking about, so certain typos that we had in Arana's story are probably going to show up here. Yay! What does Roarus want? He has some mission for you, something involving some patrician who turned traitor. I'm gonna try to read the swears. Okay, never mind, I'm not going to read the swears. Screw the swears, I'm mentally trained not to swear, and it's like, I can't do it. So, censorship ahoy! Some bullcrap thing like that. God forbid. I'm not entirely sure if that word is misspelled or not, so I'll let it pass. God forbid he send you out to the Talus front where you could actually do some good. Maybe you could talk some sense into him. You're friends. He might actually listen to you. I read the words in the wrong order and I don't care. Just do what you're told, Livio. Roarus is the Overlord, and I'm not going to put up with anyone talking bad about him behind his back. Wait, so Roarus wrote the speech for SS. And Roarus is the Overlord. So SS is close friends with the Overlord? That's kind of cool. At the same time, I find it very interesting that SS is working for the Overlord. Will that change at some point? Well, let's keep playing and find out. In some other episode, I'm sure. Of course, of course. Well, take care, SS. Roarus' mansion is in the northmost part of town. I should hurry there now. Do you want to save? Sure. Select memory card slot and all that other stuff. Unlike RPG Maker 3, RPG Maker 2 game data saves separately from the, well, game data. Let's save on this file. And a progress bar would be kind of nice, you know. Probably taking a while because this is the first time it's saving. Once I start rewriting that file, it'll probably be more common. So let's see what we got here. This is where we just came from. This is apparently SS. Do we have a regular menu or a custom menu? Well, pressing X would bring up the regular menu, but that does not seem to be working, so let's try other buttons. Square? A slightly custom menu. 0% damage, 50 experience points. Criminals kill 0. I'm kind of really wishing that this game had an instruction booklet so I know what this all is. So I guess these are your attacks. Spear, I guess. What buttons do what? Start and select don't do anything, so I guess square selects between your different weapons, and I'm not entirely sure how you would attack. So, oh, well, circle button is run, there's that. Are there going to be any treasure chests hidden around town? That would be a pretty sweet deal. Alright, so that looks like the exit to town. Oh, here's something else. Triangle, right. Hey, SS, you off on some big important mission or something? More or less. Not me. Nope, my only job in the world is to stand here all day long. I don't even have to think. It's beautiful. Sovrano is truly blessed to have such dedicated soldiers. I can tell I'm going to have fun talking to the townsfolk. Now, going from RPG Maker 3 to RPG Maker 2 with the graphics, probably a bit jarring, because you go from realistic graphics to what I can only describe as LEGO graphics. But there is some advancements. For example, pay attention to SS's shadow. It's a real-time shadow. Every shadow is real-time, which is pretty cool. You can actually have the sun change directions too. What do you have to say for yourself? If you're feeling tired, you should visit the Sovrano Inn. Real classy establishment. When you wake up, you'll feel good as new. Oh really? Well, I'll have to try that. I assume that this is the way I'm supposed to go. But I'm going to search around town some more. Is there anything back here? Guess not. I can't go in that door. Alright then. I guess... Well, the end is wide open, and this building is not, so I guess the idea is, if there's no door, I can go in, and if there's a door, it's locked. It's good to know. Nothing over here. So, this is probably the exit to town, and if that's the case, I'm rather curious what's off in this direction. It won't let me go in that direction. Alright, off to the mansion then. I think RPG Maker 2 has better load times than RPG Maker 3. But that's probably partly because you don't have to worry about a load screen. Tell you what, battles load a lot faster. Not that you'll actually be able to see in this Let's Play, because as it turns out, this game has a completely custom battle system. Obviously, otherwise we wouldn't have these options. You want to return to the title screen. That's not what I meant, but good to know. Hey, look, a water fountain. Town design seems pretty simple. It's obvious that... Oh wait, never mind. That was somebody else. Never mind. Alright, so what do you have to say for yourself, Miss Lady? Thanks to that siege in Talus, the army is stretched to its limits and things aren't as safe as they used to be. The captain in the building behind me is looking for people who are willing to help catch some of the local criminals, and I'm sure he'd be honored to have you. The building behind you? Help SSS. SSS. You mean this building, or is there another building? Well, she started out next to this building, so this is the building she's probably started talking about. Yeah, sure, let's go ahead and take a peek in here. Once again, a bit of a simple design, but whatever. Can I talk to you from here? No? Guess I have to go up to you. And it's easier to walk whenever the camera's at one of the cardinal directions rather than this, because then you're like... it's confusing. Anyway. God dang, things are crazy these days. The army's stretched so thin that we're barely able to keep the peace around here, and you can bet that criminals are taking advantage of the situation. SS, if you could give the army a hand in catching some of these jerks, we'll really appreciate it. No time. If you say so. We'll come back here eventually. I mean, we're supposed to go look for the Emperor, the Overlord, first. Which is why I'm spending time looking around these buildings that sometimes cannot be entered. I heard Overlord Roarus has been drinking heavily these days. Well, that's why the country is going to crap. Just thought you should know. You know, I know I've already talked about... I know this is the very first episode, but I've already forgotten what I've talked about. Probably because whenever I rehearsed the opening and the explanation, I thought I would have a lot more time than I did and planned out to say a lot more. So I'm not entirely sure what I said and what I didn't say. Did I mention that this game came out the year after Runner's Story? I'm not sure. Whenever I do the editing, I'm just going to have to check that stuff out. Ah, here's the mansion. And probably a little couple of guardhouses. Welcome to Serrano, sir. Thanks. Welcome to Serrano, sir. Thanks. It's a flag. Checkpoint. Would you like to save? No. Not this time. Not until I talk to this person, anyway. Roarus is in his office. The war's not going well, but I guess it's the army's job to endure. There's probably not actually going to be anything hidden in this game like there was in the last game I played, Light in the Sky. Probably not going to be anything hidden like in that game, but whatever. Alright, let me take a moment to save again. No, the save still took a while. Alright, let's see the Overlord. Oh, cutscene. SS, you're finally back. How'd the speech go? It was well received. General Livio found me afterwards and said you wanted to see me. He didn't seem too happy with you. He's always... How do I want to put that? I mean, typically, whenever I was thinking about that word, censoring it, I would say female dog in heat. What would I say with ing added to the end? Oh, alright. He's always being a female dog in heat about something. Okay, you know what? Screw it. He's always bitching about something. There's censorship and then there's just being stupid. He's losing soldiers every day. This siege on Talos is really taxing his army. It's my army. I'm the Overlord and I'll make sure no one ever forgets it. And I know what people are saying about me. You're getting paranoid. Well, anyway. I have a job for you. Right. SV, huh? I guess the person in green. Who's this? It's an honor to meet you, SS, sir. My title is SV. Yeah, that's the one of the few things I know about this game. SS is not his actual name, it's his title. And around here, people get called by their titles. For the most part. Apparently generals are slightly exempt from the rule. You're a defender? Aren't you a little young? I graduated from the Defender Academy last spring. That's right, he's going to help you. Really? And what kind of mission will he be helping me on? You've heard about Alexander Heyman, right? That wealthy landowner who has an estate north of here? His lineage can be traced back to the founders of Terrace, like us. His name rings a bell, and I just put my hand on my chin, fingers, like I'm thinking here, even though you can't see me. Continuing forth, well, he's turned on us. He's letting Talos soldiers use his mansion as an outpost. Word is, they're planning some sort of attack on Sovrano. Now, I don't know if Heyman is a new convert or a Vegas, or if he's just in it for the money, but either way, he's got to go. I'm sending both of you to his estate. SS, you'll be approaching his mansion from the south, while SV will attack from the west via the river. You are to bring Heyman back alive for questioning if possible, but if he resists, take him out. As for the Talos soldiers, kill any that get in your way. Is everything clear? Crystal clear, Overlord Roarus. You can count on me. And I just realized that we're not having storytellers. Yes, RPG Maker 2 came before RPG Maker 3 decided to... Let me try rephrasing that. That sounds slightly confusing. RPG Maker 2 didn't have storytellers. RPG Maker 3, for some reason, decided that rather than have real-time cutscenes like this, they should force everybody to use those storytellers. Don't we have more experienced defenders on hand? Is a question, except I'm saying it as a statement. So let me reread it. Don't we have any more experienced defenders on hand? That kid isn't ready for a mission like this yet. What are you talking about? It's just some soldiers and a washed-up aristocrat. You two will be fine. Look, Vega may be a false god, but he's no idiot. His tactics alone has stopped your army from breaching Talos countless times. Well, we'll see how much longer he can keep that up. Don't you see, though, there's more to this situation that meets the eye. More than meets the eye. Vega might very well want us to make a move on Heyman. That's an interesting suspicion. And you thought I was and you thought I was paranoid. Are you saying you don't want to go? No, I'm saying that you shouldn't send SV. He'll be fine. Worry about your own skin for a change. Now go into the room behind me and use the tunnel. It'll set you on the right path to Heyman's estate. Good luck, SS. Alright, can I talk to you again for re-instructions? Because I kind of didn't pay attention to which way I was supposed to go. It's been a while since you've seen combat, right? Remember to test out your various elemental attacks on enemies to figure out their weaknesses. Alright. Hey, there's a door back here. Where does it go? Yay, exploration! What is this? It's all glowy and stuff. And let's see, this stuff doesn't really do anything, so... You are about to encounter your first enemies. Would you like a combat tutorial? Yeah. Was this where I was supposed to go? Because I thought he told me to head out on that one path that forced me backwards. To attack an enemy, simply approach him and press triangle and you will hit him with the attack you currently have selected. To select a different attack, press square to access the menu and choose which attack you want to use. Normally when you attack an enemy, you will hear this sound. Elemental attacks, fire, ice, etc. generally do twice as much damage as your spear, but they cost 10 EP, element points. Oh, I thought that was experience points. Each time you use them. Additionally, most enemies are weak against at least one element, so experiment on an enemy until you find their weakness. If you strike an enemy with an element they are weak against, it will do 4 times as much damage as your spear, and you will hear this sound. Be warned though, most enemies also have one element that they are particularly resistant to. If you strike an enemy with an elemental attack they are resistant to, it will only do as much damage to your spear, and you will hear this sound. You know, I kinda like that. It's kinda like Pokemon, where certain attacks you knew whether it was a critical hit or weak depending on what sound effect you heard. That had an attack that text that appeared, but before the text appeared you knew it based on the sound effect, so I like that. Learn an enemy's strength and weaknesses to conserve EP and make your battles easier. So what are we dealing with down here then? Level 1s. Oh, okay. Level 1, Sovrano Way. Alright, so anytime I step here, and then I press any button, and then it does that. I'm gonna do a bit of backtracking. You probably shouldn't allow me to see that message whenever I'm going backwards. I'm gonna return to the town and see if that one path opened up, because I swear that's where he told me to go. And the teleport stuck me slightly in the ground there, but that's no big deal. Kinda think of it, we haven't explored these doors, so we can't explore these doors. Of course we can't, they're doors. And also, that one path is not available. Oh, except I didn't check whether the guard at the entrance to town was there. By the way, I noticed something interesting that I will probably want to discuss whenever I go back to level 1. Actually, upon thinking about it, this episode has gone on long enough, I think. Next time we are going to start level 1. Yeah, I know, I haven't shown off any battles yet. I'm sure you're all curious what the custom battle system is going to be like. Well, that just means you're going to have to watch the next episode. I'll see you then. Oh, and one more thing before I forget. Tsunami, feel free to comment however much you like. If you want to comment on the RPG Maker forums, then comment there and I'll link to them. Or if you want to leave a bunch of comments on this video, feel free to leave as many as you like. Screw the text limit that comments have on YouTube. You don't have to worry about that. Just say whatever you want.